The film begins in Japan with a student named Takahata, who was distinguished among the other students because he was intelligent, and due to his great intelligence he felt bored with his life. Suddenly, everything changes while he is in the classroom and the teacher is writing on the board. The teacher's head explodes, and in its place appears a strange toy that can speak, called Daruma. This toy challenges the students. If it turns its face and sees any student moving, it immediately blows up their head, but if it turns its back, the students are allowed to move freely. Daruma turns its face and sees a student moving, so it kills him, and whoever gets scared and tries to run also dies instantly. Then the toy turns its face and keeps repeating its name while the remaining students are overwhelmed with fear and ask what they should do. When Daruma kills any student, small red balls come out of him, and two students wait for Daruma to turn its back so they can run and open the door, but they discover that the door is locked and sealed, and then Daruma turns its face again and kills those two. The students start screaming from fear, but a student named Sakaki calms them down and tells them he knows this game. It is the Daruma game, and they are trapped in it until it kills them all, but there is a button on the back of the toy, and if they press it, the challenge will end. One student makes a huge mistake and runs to press the button, but Daruma senses him, quickly turns its face, and kills him. This was Daruma's strategy, to speak slowly, and when it senses that a student is approaching, it turns its face quickly. Afterwards, the students notice there is a timer on the back of the toy, and they have only 1 minute left, and if the minute ends, all the students will die, so they all try to approach Daruma to press the button. But some of them slip on the balls scattered on the floor, and the toy turns its face and kills them. The classroom becomes nothing but corpses, and only 10 seconds remain, with only Takahata and Sakaki left alive. At that moment, Sakaki crouches down so that Takahata can jump onto his back quickly, heading straight towards the toy to press the button. Indeed, Takahata succeeds at the very last second, and the toy falls to the ground, showing clear signs of frustration at having been defeated and losing the challenge. Takahata and Sakaki start celebrating that they have survived, but suddenly Sakaki's head explodes, and Daruma says to Takahata, "You were the one who pressed the button, so you were the only one who won this challenge." Takahata could not believe what had just happened, and then Daruma tells him as well that the cat is still coming, meaning she was giving him a glimpse of the next challenge. Suddenly, the classroom door opens, and his friend Chika appears, who is in a state of shock. Takahata goes to her to check if she is all right, and Chika tells him that she too was in a Daruma challenge, and when she pressed the button, all her classmates died. Takahata says to her, "The same thing happened to me. We have to call the police." But when he takes out his phone, he finds that there is no signal, so he and Chika decide to run out of the school together. However, they discover that all the doors are locked. Takahata tries to break the glass, but it does not shatter, and finally, they find a door that opens, leading them into the gymnasium. As soon as they enter, the door closes behind them all at once, so they find themselves trapped again, but they are not alone this time. There are other students inside, and some of them are wearing costumes that resemble mice. Takahata realizes that they are entering a new challenge, and on the floor it is written, "Shoot the ball into the basket to win." Suddenly, the ground begins to shake, and a giant statue in the shape of a cat emerges. The cat immediately devours a student wearing a mouse costume, and then starts moving towards any student dressed as a mouse to eat them. This challenge turns out to be even harder than the previous one. The students run in fear, and the cat runs towards Takahata and Chika but does not eat them because they are not wearing the mouse costumes. Chika notices a ball rolling on the ground, and Takahata sees the basket hoop inside the giant cat's body, realizing that the goal is to shoot the ball into the cat's basket. He tells the other students about this, and a skilled basketball player asks Chika to pass him the ball. When the student gets the ball, he throws it towards the cat's basket, and it was about to go in, but the cat blocks the ball, catches it, and throws it back at the student with great force, smashing him against the wall, killing him instantly. After that, the cat looks at Takahata but does not eat him. Instead, it looks at any student wearing the mouse costume. Takahata understands at this point that the cat devours anyone wearing the mouse costume, so he shouts to the students, telling them, "Take off the mouse costumes." So Takahata called out to the students and told them, "Take off the mouse costumes." But suddenly, the cat moved again and this time began to eat anyone in its way. The students ran in fear all around the court, and Chika found the ball lying next to her, with a timer on it showing only 3 minutes left. At that moment, the cat approached Chika to devour her, so when Takahata saw that his friend was about to die, he quickly put on the mouse costume to save her. Indeed, the cat left Chika alone and turned its attention to Takahata instead. Takahata kept distracting the cat, running right and left, asking anyone to throw him the ball, but all the students were too afraid to help, fearing they would end up like the basketball player before them. Then Takahata started hearing a strange voice and realized that because he was wearing the mouse costume, he could now understand the cat's sounds. The cat actually wanted someone to scratch its back so it could sleep. After understanding this, Takahata ran and climbed onto the cat's back, grabbed the rope there, and began scratching its back. As soon as he did that, the cat smiled and stopped attacking anyone, wanting Takahata to keep doing it. Takahata then called the other students to come help him. Chika joined him and helped, and when the other students saw that this worked, they climbed onto the cat's back too and scratched it the same way Takahata did. As a result, the cat began to relax and fell into a deep sleep. After that, Takahata went and grabbed the ball and prepared to throw it into the hoop. But the other students all came over, and each one of them wanted to be the one to shoot the ball, afraid that whoever threw the ball into the hoop would be the only one to survive. They started arguing and fighting over who would get to shoot, and because of their loud voices, the cat woke up and killed 2 of the students with its claws. At that moment, Takahata realized they wouldn't have enough time to put the cat back to sleep, so he came up with a brilliant idea. He took a torn basketball and asked Chika to get the cat's real ball, then they both went behind the changing room. After a while, they came out, each holding a ball and wearing the mouse costume, approaching the cat from different directions. The cat was confused, not knowing which of them held the real ball it needed to block. But Takahata accidentally revealed that he was holding an ordinary basketball, so the cat realized that the real ball was with Chika. It went to her and grabbed her ball to block it, but this was part of Takahata's plan. He took advantage of the cat's focus on Chika's ball and threw his own ball, which actually contained the cat's real ball inside it. Unfortunately, the ball didn't go into the hoop. Everyone thought they had lost the challenge, but suddenly, a student named Amaya appeared from behind the cat and shot the ball into the hoop, winning the challenge at the very last second. The cat stopped completely to announce that the game was over, then started functioning again a few seconds later and declared that the winners were Takahata, Chika, and Amaya, without mentioning any other student's name. Takahata wondered what would happen to the remaining students, but suddenly Amaya killed all the students who had lost because he was a disturbed person who liked to live in a world where the strong prevail over the weak. Then Amaya approached Takahata and Chika and said to them, "We are the ones who won, so we alone deserve to live." Chika replied, "You're insane. You shouldn't compare yourself to us." Amaya became angry at her words and was about to kill Chika, but Takahata intervened and stopped him. After that, the cat released white smoke, and the 3 students disappeared. It was then shown on the news that the same challenges were taking place in schools all around the world, and that almost more than 10 million students had died. The news anchors began covering the disappearance of the students, and some reporters said that aliens were responsible for what was happening. It was shown that huge cubes had appeared and were floating in the sky. Inside the cube over Japan, Takahata woke up to find an old friend of his from another school named Taxa, with whom he had been in a relationship in the past. Besides Taxa, there were 2 other students from different schools named Tara and Taka, who had managed to survive the Daruma challenge and the cat challenge in their own schools. Takahata realized that all the students there had names that started with the letter T, so he understood that only those who had won the challenges were brought there, and that each room gathered students whose names began with a certain letter. Takahata remembered that both Chika and Amaya's names started with the same letter, so he felt afraid that they might be together in the same room. But the door to his room was locked, so there was nothing he could do. He went to knock on the door and shouted, hoping that someone would hear him, but the student named Tara stopped him. Tara was a very intelligent yet arrogant young man, and he said to Takahata, "No one is going to come to save us." Tara said to Takahata, "We are trapped here, and all we are supposed to do is wait for the next challenge." After that, someone knocked on the door, and 4 strange dolls entered, floating in the air. They told the students that the time had come for the 3rd challenge, and that this challenge was more difficult than any of the ones before. One of the dolls asked Tara to be the one to start the game, and because Tara was overly confident in himself, he agreed. The dolls then explained the game. Tara would sit on the ground and close his eyes, and the dolls would circle around him and sing. After they finished singing, they would ask him, "Who is standing behind you?" Tara became nervous and started arguing, and as a result, Tara lost. One of the dolls shot a laser at Tara, and that laser made the dolls take full control over him, forcing Tara to slam his head into the ground repeatedly until he died. After Tara died, the dolls asked Taka to play, but she refused because she was terrified. The dolls told her, "If you refuse to join the game, you will die immediately." So Taka was forced to play because she had no other option. She covered her eyes, and the dolls began to sing and circle around her. They asked her, "Who was standing behind you?" But because she was so afraid, she delayed her answer and lost. When she tried to get up and escape, the dolls surrounded her, and one of the dolls shot her with the laser. This time, they made Taka open her legs and kept pulling her until her bones broke and her body split in 2. After that, the dolls chose Taxa, but Takahata said to them, "I want to play instead of her." The dolls agreed. The dolls started singing and spinning around him, then stopped and asked him, "Who is standing behind you?" To everyone's surprise, Takahata answered correctly. The dolls were astonished and asked him, "How did you know?" He replied, "I memorized your movements when I saw you playing with Taka and Tara." After Takahata succeeded, the dolls vanished completely, and in their place appeared a key. Takahata and Toxa are then able to get out of the room with the key, and they see one of the students running, and he had a key, and he was chasing one of the dolls. That student warns them and says to them, "We must hold each other's hands because this doll kills the students who stand alone." And when the doll sees them holding each other's hands, it leaves them and walks away to look for any student who is alone. And so Takahata's team now has 2 keys. After that, they hear a sound and move towards the sound. Takahata leaves the people he was standing with and runs to Chika to save her and holds her hands at the last moment before the doll was about to kill her. Then a big wooden head appears in the wall, and there is a time counter working in its head, and there are 7 places for the keys, and that head speaks and says, 7 people must place the 7 keys. Takahata's team meets 2 other students, and they had 2 keys with them, so they become 6 people and 4 keys, which means they still need 1 person and 3 keys, and they have only 2 minutes left. Their team feels despair and thinks that there is no time left. Suddenly, Amaya throws 3 keys in front of them, and he had another student with him, and since they all became 8 people, Amaya kills the student who was with him so that they become 7, and he says, "I only needed him and was holding his hand so that the doll does not kill me." Takahata did not want Amaya to join them in the first place, but he is forced to agree because he needs him, and they put the 7 keys in the wooden head so they can go to the next challenge, and the wooden head tells them, "The challenge is over and you may change your clothes." Then it disappears and opens for them a tunnel to enter, and they pass through that tunnel and reach the other side, which was a place full of snow. Takahata feels the ground shaking, and then a giant white polar bear appears and starts performing in front of them and then stops, and the bear says to them, "I hate lying. So this challenge is that I will ask you questions and you must answer honestly. But if one of you lies, you must try to choose him or choose someone to sacrifice so you can move on to the next stage." After the bear explains the rules, he asks them, "What is your favorite meal?" And their team sees it as a very easy question, and each one answers, but the bear smells the lie and says, "I smell a lie," and says to the team, "You have 2 minutes and you must reveal the liar or sacrifice anyone." And at that moment, everyone accuses the other. Then they throw their doubts on that student because when he answered, he said, "My favorite meal is vegetables." And vegetables are not actually a complete meal, and the student keeps saying to them, "I'm not lying, I love vegetables." And indeed, but that's it, our team chose him and doubted him, so the bear kills that student. And then the bear moves on to the second question and asks them if they love Takahat. And because Ichika and Tox are in love with Takahat, they say, "We love him." And Amaya also says, "I love him." And the rest of the students say, "We love him." And after everyone answers, the bear says, "There is one liar among you." And Ichika immediately accuses Amaya and says, "Amaya doesn't love anyone at all." And the two of them keep arguing, while Takahat wonders, why would anyone lie as long as the bear will find out? So the bear says to Takahat, "Bravo, you got it. You found the secret. One of you is an alien disguised as a human, and he is the one who's been lying from the start. So you must find him and get rid of him, or else he will be the reason you all die." One student says the liar is Toxa because it's definitely not me or my friend who are aliens since we are from the same school, and Takahat, Ichika, and Amaya are from the same school, so you are the only one different among us, and we must sacrifice you. But Takahat and Ichika defend her, and the time is about to run out. So the two students from the same school and Amaya choose Toxa. So the majority opinion is what goes, and the bear crushes her and kills her, and Takahat believes that his old love has died and nothing remains of her except some blood. The bear gets ready to ask the next question, but Takahat stops him and says, "I found out who the liar is." And the bear is surprised that he is the liar, and says, "Tox was the one who helped me know that because her blood removed the white paint that you sprayed on your body. So your real color is black. So you are the liar and deceiver from the beginning. And none of the people who died were liars." So the bear was only convincing the students that there was a liar or an alien among them, so he could kill them all. And the bear gets angry that Takahat uncovered his secret and tries to attack the students and crush them. But the students run away from him until the bear finally falls into a hot place. So his body burns and the paint on him melts. And in the end, the bear accepts defeat and announces their victory in the challenge. After that, our team moves to the new place where they will play the next challenge, and small dolls come in and fly around them and tell them that this challenge is the final challenge, and one of them will be chosen and will be called Akuma, and Akuma will take this box and put it in the red circle on the ground. At that time, the rest of the students will go hide, and Akuma will start searching for them, and when Akuma sees any person, he will call out his name loudly and take him and put him in the cell, and this way Akuma has caught that person. And if Akuma puts 3 students or more in prison, he will win. But if any free student can kick the box into the cage, then the others will survive. But you must know that the box has a bomb inside. So if someone kicks the box into the channels, that person will sacrifice himself so that the rest can live. And the last thing the dolls say is that the challenge will not end except at sunset, which is about an hour away. And if the hour ends and Akuma has not imprisoned 3 people or more, then he will lose. And after the rules were explained, one of the dolls brings out 5 wooden sticks to choose the student who will become Akuma. And unfortunately for the students, Akuma turns out to be Amaya, the most insane and evil student among them. And the game begins, and all the students run to hide, and Amaya takes the box and puts it in the red circle and runs to look for the students, and Amaya is able to find the 2 students who are from the school. Then again very easily, and the 2 students tried to hit Amaya, but he was stronger than them and managed to overpower them and threw them into the cell. Takahata and Chika saw what happened from afar, but Amaya was able to see them and know their place. So they started thinking how to act, and tied a rope to get out through the window. But Amaya arrived quickly, and Chika realized they would not be able to escape. So she delayed time for Takit and reached Amaya herself. And after Amaya caught Chika, he quickly went to catch Takit, but Takit had already escaped. Takit knew that Amaya would go to guard the box, so he went to any place to hide in, and Amaya spoke to Takit in a loud voice trying to convince him to appear and that he would not catch him. And he said to him, "I have already caught 3 people, so the 2 of us can win together." But Takit did not believe him and knew he was lying. And he searched the place for anything he could use, and he found a tin suit. And Takit came out of his place wearing the suit to protect his body from the explosion when he kicked the box. But the problem was that the suit was very heavy and restricted his movement. And in addition to that, Takit looked awkward and dropped the sword from his hand to the ground and retreated to the back of the castle and became without protection. Amaya removed the helmet he was wearing and approached him. But he was surprised by a chain, and it turned out that all that happened was Takit's plan from the beginning, as Takit was able to tie the chain to his body when Amaya removed the helmet from him, and thus prevented him from going to the box. Takit spoke and said, "I used to see life as boring and I wished for any change. But after what happened and the games we went through, I realized the value of the life I had. And it turned out that I was stupid, but unfortunately, a person does not appreciate the blessing he has." After that, Takit threw his body from above the castle and pulled Amaya with him, who tried not to fall with him. And below Takit had come out of the suit and connected again, and Amaya tried to pull the very heavy tin suit as quickly as possible, and Takit climbed to the roof. And he moves towards the box to kick it. And Amaya struggles and pulls the suit at the right moment and gets rid of the chain and tries to stop Takahata. And Takahata manages to kick the box and thus frees his friends. And everyone is afraid of the explosion, but no explosion happens. And it turns out that there was no bomb inside the box. And after a few seconds the sun sets and the challenge ends. And the dolls appear and announce that Takahata is the winner, and they say that they lied about the bomb and they only said that to make the challenge more exciting. And Amaya gets angry about losing and because he will die, but the dolls say that the last challenge was all just a game and no one will die. And the celebrations start in the sky, and the students rejoice that they will finally get out alive, and the dolls give them ice cream as a gift for winning. And Taka eats the ice cream and thinks with Chika about what they will do when they get out. And after they talk for a long time, Takahata notices that there is writing on the ice cream stick, but he does not pay attention and continues talking with Chika. But Chika cries after reading the words written on her stick, and it was written, "You lost and you will die." And the dolls speak again and say that every challenge you entered needed skill and intelligence, but in the end luck is what will decide who will live and who will die. And they also say that each ice cream you took is written on it the fate of each one of you. And Chika's fate is that she will die. And Takahata looks at his stick, and his luck was good and he will live. And Amaya also will live, and the other 2 students will die. And after the fate of each one of them was decided, Chika and the 2 students get struck by a laser from one of the dolls, and Takahata and Amaya move to the top of the cube flying in Japan, and all the people greet them because they managed to survive. But Takahata was in deep sadness because he lost his lover Chika, and with this we reach the end of the episode.